Hi, my name is Gage Kelly, and my presentation today is on monsoons and seasonal weather patterns. So the first topic is, how do monsoons form? Monsoons form in shifts in wind patterns, so the reversal of winds, often influenced by the ITCZ or the Intertropical Convergence Zone, reinforces the monsoon system, leading to distinct wet and dry seasons. Next, moisture-laden winds. So these are low-pressure areas that draw moisture from the ocean, leading to heavy rainfall as the air mass rises and cools. And next, seasonal temperature differences. So during the summer, the land heats up more quickly than the surrounding ocean, and this creates a low-pressure area over the land, reinforcing the monsoon and creating it. And a common misconception about monsoons is that they're all wet. Actually, monsoons can be dry, and yes, dry monsoons do exist. Do monsoons evolve, and how? So monsoons can evolve due to temperature gradients. So as summer approaches, the land heats up faster than the ocean, creating significant temperature gradients that establish these low pressure areas over the land. Wind changes, so the pressure differences drive winds from high pressure ocean regions towards low pressure land areas, and this leads to the onset of that moisture-laden air that I talked about. Next, we got feedback mechanisms, so this is another way they evolve. So as rainfall begins, increased humidity and surface heating can enhance convection, which is basically the heating of air due to the heating of the surface. And this reinforces the monsoon, potentially leading to more intense and prolonged rainy seasons. Next, we got monsoon watch, which ultimately is like a flash flood watch. So these are issued when conditions are favorable for flash flooding, typically in areas that can experience heavy rainfall. The criteria for this is 1 to 3 inches of rain over a short period of time, typically 1 to 3 hours. And another criteria would be saturated ground or ongoing rain that would increase the risk of flash flooding. Typically occurs more commonly in regions with poor draining systems, steep terrain that can puddle at the bottom, or urban areas prone to the flooding. The purpose is just to alert people that there could be a potential flash flood imminent, and just to help people get to safety. So next we got the monsoon warning / the flash flood warning. So a warning is different from a watch. A warning basically means that a flash flood is currently active or it's very imminent. So a rainfall of 1 to 2 inches or more within a short time frame, typically an hour or less, would meet the criteria for a flash flood warning. Evidence of flash flooding or reports from local officials, such as rising water levels or road closures, would be a good indicator. Often issued for smaller areas that are typically prone to the flooding, that are at an immediate risk, would obviously be grounds to issue a warning. And the purpose obviously is to alert people so they can get to safety and protect themselves from flash flooding. Flash floods are really dangerous and can kill a lot of people. Next we got the 2019 Indian monsoon. So this was a very big monsoon that occurred in India, obviously. Displacement of millions due to flooding caused over 1,600 deaths. So a lot of people died. This was particularly due to the flash flooding that occurred. Obviously, this is going to disrupt daily transportation and activities for many people. And it actually poses risks for waterborne illnesses such as cholera and malaria. And yeah, it did have a severe environmental impact as well. Severe flooding of rivers, causing erosion, destruction of ecosystems. This was more particular in wetlands and forests. And yeah, damage to agriculture and crops for farming was a big deal. And it also caused a severe economic impact as well. widespread crop damage leading to significant losses in agriculture. So like I said, crops were damaged. Destruction of infrastructure such as roads, bridges, and homes. This costs a lot of money to repair and can lead to significant economic downsides. And thankfully, the government has tried to help with this and support the damages and help create funding to relieve these people of that. And so this is the story of a girl that actually experienced the 2018 Kerala monsoon floods in India. Her name's Reena. She was a resident of Kochi, Kerala, so the city in India where the flood happened, obviously. And she lived in a small house with her family near a river. She worked as a school teacher and supported her 2 children. This was before the flood. During the monsoons, obviously the heavy rains started to occur in August 2018, and the river near her home began to rise, which is a pretty good indicator that there's a flash flood. Within hours, the water flooded her house, destroying furniture and important belongings. The family had to evacuate to a nearby relief center as the water level kept rising. It did have a very big impact socially because Reena's family was displaced and separated from neighbors for weeks, so there was little social interaction, very limited communication. It did have an environmental impact as well. Obviously, their home was surrounded by muddy water, so limited access to household needs, making it impossible to return to their house for days. Also had a severe economic impact. Reena lost her teaching job, sadly, because schools were shut down due to the flooding, and this obviously affected her income and her ability to support her family. And it did have an emotional impact as well. The traumatic experience left her feeling uncertain about the future and stressed over rebuilding her life. Obviously, this type of event can have a long-lasting impact on people's emotional health. And the aftermath, so the government and local NGOs helped with relief, thankfully, providing food, clothes, and temporary housing. Reena received some financial aid and was able to repair her home and get back to teaching. And despite the recovery, the long-term mental and emotional scars of the flood remained with her and her family forever. And that's the story of Reena and the Kerala monsoon flooding. And here's my works cited. There's 4 sources on here. And thank you for listening.